I just want to make sure that I am live. Can you hear me and see me? Okay. Hi, how are you, ladies? What we're going to talk about is super juicy. I'm gonna wait like a little, about 5 minutes to start. You know, I had this realization yesterday how the feminine rebellion is happening collectively. This truth, this powerful shift to look inwards and remember our power. You're not the only one who's going through it, but it is all of the women in the world. So I've been called today because if I don't really define what that means, what this feminine rebellion means, we're not really understanding each other. So what I wanted to say is that you can be provided for and also remember your power. You don't have to abandon yourself. You don't have to forget who you are for the person that you're with. You don't have to be the maid. You can't, if you love to cook, if you love to clean, please do it. However, don't do it because you need, like, you're expected to do it. Just because we've been raised with women that have done that and have shown us the example, they have set the example for us. You get to choose differently. You get to choose what you want to do, what you don't like to do. You get to choose. You're not a victim. The softness, this rebellion has to do with the softness that scares the world. The confidence to walk into a room and remain present. The softness of, whoa, who is that and what type of presence she has. That type of softness is the one that scares the world, the people around you. Society has taught us to chase, to compete, and survive. But there is something deeper awakening in us. That is our intuition, that is our empathy, that is listening to our insides. The world has been waiting for the return of the woman who walks with grace, who magnetizes support. We thrive, women thrive supporting each other. But I see a lot of this. We see each other as competition. This is not about playing small. This is about reclaiming your gold, reclaiming your truth, that where you stand, it's true for you and that's what it matters. It is not holding accountable other people for what you say. If they do not understand, if they do not see what you're telling them as truth, it's okay. They'll understand in the future, or maybe they won't. It is okay, because you get to decide that your truth is valid, and you are not looking for validations for others to accept what you say. The lie of the strong independent woman, it has taught us to wear masculine armor, to think that we're supposed to work just like men do. We've been taught to feel comfortable and safe in masculine armor, and what is that doing? That is giving us diseases. That is giving us a sickness, burnt out. That's the word that I was looking for, burnt out. If you are so caught up in working, you are, I'm sure that you're in survival mode. Women do not thrive in stress environments. Hyper independence, women that say, oh, I get to have it all. I mean, I get to do it all alone. That is not freedom. That is protecting yourself, because you're afraid of being vulnerable, of building a life with another person. The feminine is not weakness. The feminine is self-protection. The feminine is source. The desire to be supported, to be provided for, is what you're really craving. I talked about this yesterday with The Art of Becoming, that we are not able, we do not know how to communicate our feelings. We hold accountable other people for what we are feeling, when at the end of the day, you need to realize how you have to manage your emotions. When you say people, men, or friends, or situations at your job are making you feel something, you are giving your power to the person that you're with. You're leaking your power, and people are not seeing you as capable. Drop a like if you feel identified with what I'm saying. Drop a comment, or what your soul is asking. When you're not attuned to your boundaries, when you're not attuned to, when you don't put yourself first, that is when abandonment happens. That is when you abandon your power and become prisoner in your own relationship, when all of this time you've been craving to be provided for. And when that happens, you forget yourself. You stop doing the things that you did when you were single. When you do not know your worth, you'll trade your soul for security. So what does it mean to be provided for? What does it mean? What does this mean? To be provided for means you get to choose who is going to support you in your soul-led business. Who is going to support you while you do what you love to do in your radiance. You're not here to be saved anymore. You're here to be seen. Those times where, you know, evolution has taught us that women before were passed on instead of being passed on from father to husband. Right now you get to choose. You are forgetting, based on what you've been through, what your present really is. You're never meant to be in survival. Remember that. You were never meant to live in survival. What can you do to remain in this softness era, in this delicious and feminine energy, and also remember your power? Because you get to decide in all of the areas to have balance. You get to decide when you get to show up in your power and when you get to be soft. You're never meant to live in survival. Remember that. A radiant woman is a force in nature. She receives effortlessly. She's touched by her environment, by her surroundings. Be the woman who is provided for, but because she keeps herself. She doesn't forget herself. She doesn't forget what she must do. Hi, AMC. Water is soft, but it is one of the most powerful forces in nature. I agree, and I feel so good when I shower, when I am in the water. Babe. He can't get enough of me. Te amo.
Love you. We're gonna go eat?
Yeah. Give me like 10 minutes.
Guys, we gotta go eat. Okay, love you.
Alright.
How long?
Like 15.
15?
Yeah. You get to decide when you get to be in your feminine, and when you get to show up in your dark feminine or your masculine energy. Call it whatever you want to call it. Being connected with the four, with fire, with water, with the air, with the earth, that is power that we forget because we're so distracted by what everything that human has created. That is games, that is the TV, that is social media. I'm not saying these things are wrong. These things are amazing, but have a balance. Connect with the earth. Connecting with these types of things, with nothing, with the earth, the air, the sun, water. These types of things are going to bring you in your feminine energy. Breathing from your womb up is going to show you how you can feel your body. Feeling your body, it is so important. So what is special from this rebellion? This rebellion has to do with our presence. This rebellion has to do with your devotion to your power. This rebellion has to do with your softness as your strength. Remember that. So I wrote some stuff down for you to journal on your own time. I wrote this question you should ask yourself: what parts of me believe that I must earn love or rest? What I'm gonna ask the question one more time so you can write it down and you can do it on your own time. What parts of me believe that I must earn love or rest? Another activity that you can do to connect with this rebellion of the feminine is doing mirror work. You're just looking at yourself in the mirror and admiring what you have physically in this earth. Witness your beauty, but also your power. And also the last practice, I'm going to answer AMC, 1 second. The last practice that I want you to do is embodiment. Move like a woman that is already adored. Don't be chasing for attention. No, give that attention to yourself. Let's answer some questions. AMC, it's a shame you have to go eat. This is an interesting conversation. Yes, I'm not going to leave until I have all of my all of the things that I meant to say in this life, okay? Insecurity is what causes people to feel like they have to earn love. That is so true. And let me tell you that all of us, everybody, humans, there is a soft spot in every person. You can work with your insecurity. I've broken this insecurity for the art of becoming. The art of becoming is a course where I teach this embodiment, the perfect feminine embodiment to regulate your nervous system and also your emotions. But I am going to tell you right now how I broke down insecurity and explained it to my students. So insecurity, I have broken it down in 3 parts: worthiness, security, and confidence. These 3 things go together. They go hand in hand. And all of us have it. Okay? Just some people work on their weaknesses, as others do not work on their weaknesses. Okay, so what is worthiness? It is just that belief that you're worthy of that desire that you want. What is security? It is knowing that you're able to do something different. It is that knowing that it is that audience in your mind that is clapping at you every time you do something. And that is what I say, you must do whatever it is that you're working on at least 21 days, so you know that your audience is going to be tough in the beginning, but then at the end of the 21 days you're like, oh, I got this. If I have fear in something, you're gonna see me every day doing it until I don't have that fear. If I have fear of public speaking, you're gonna see me eventually in a scenario where I talk to thousands and thousands of people. Why? Because I get to choose that every fear is just facing a new and high version of myself. So, what I'm telling, the point of me telling you this is that you can work on your security, your confidence, and your self worthiness to become a different person, and also to know that you're worthy of that love, of whatever it is that you desire at the end of the day. Yes, I agree so much with what you're saying. Fear, beautifully, you said it beautifully. AMC said, fear is the lack of knowledge. Once you acquire the knowledge, the fear dissipates. So true. So, when does this when do women awaken her power? When does she awakens to herself? When she stops being available for things that she doesn't resonate with. When she stops working a job that doesn't fulfill her. When she figures out her financial situation is going to bring her so much joy. We do not have these types of examples. They're not enough. Yes, there's a lot of equality nowadays. We get to do anything that we want. We get to decide what to do, who to become. But we don't have enough examples. That is why I am here. Because you get to choose when you're in your power, when you're sharing your knowledge, a different side of you shows up. It is not only the woman that has the partner and is also provided, but she is a woman that has a gift to offer. Okay, MC says, when you are as attractive as you are, it is easy to have confidence and feel secure about yourself. But what would you tell a woman that does not look like you do? Perhaps they weigh 300 pounds. Wow, that is tough. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth is that I've never, I'm not going to say never, but until a certain year, like what, 5 years ago, I did not feel the way that I look until I worked on myself. Why? Because the beauty that I was, the beauty that other people saw fed my ego, but not myself, if that makes sense. So, to answer your question, to answer that question of confidence, it has nothing to do with physical. It has everything to do with how you feel. But however, I do know you have to work out. First of all, if a woman weighs 300 pounds and she's here listening to advice for women and wants to change the way that she is, First of all, she has to look inwards. First of all, she has to question why is the reason why she's eating emotionally, because getting to 300 pounds is not normal unless you have something that, like a disease, not a disease, a condition. So to answer your question, the 300-pound woman that is watching me, I get you. I understand. Just stop. Don't be so hard on yourself. And get yourself to work out every single day. After a week, you're going to see changes and you're going to be so proud of yourself. After the second week, oh my God. When you start eating and when you start doing the workouts, then that pushes you to eat better. That pushes you to be like, oh, I'm not gonna have that candy because, I killed myself in the gym. Like, I'm not gonna, that's not taken for granted, So you value what you do. So put yourself first. If you do not put yourself first, that is going to show physically and emotionally. Do you think confidence or access to their power is tied to in their appearance? No. No, because I think the most insecure women are the women who are beautiful. Unless they have worked within themselves. If they have had the knowledge of a psychologist, of a therapist, of a coach, that helps a lot to see past what you physically see in other people. Yeah. The women rebellion is when you actually see your softness as your power, as your presence. And if you watch the entire video once again and you follow what I say throughout the video, I assure you that you're going to have a huge change in your life. But if you're feeling called to want to know more, join the Art of Becoming, because it is so potent. It will fill your soul up, and it'll actually get to control how I teach there identity, values, how you have to control your emotions and take full responsibility on what you're doing to actually be free. To actually end my thoughts on the feminine rebellion, I want to tell you that the feminine does not chase. She remembers her throne. Hi, Sarma. How are you? Welcome. They say in every relationship there is a strong oak tree in the clinging vine. Do you think that is true? I didn't understand the question. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to say about being provided for. It is not a set of rules. It is not, um, me telling you my story will will inspire you in some ways. However, it will not be the same story for every woman. Being provided for gets to be easy when you are in your power. Gets to be easy when you remember the power your voice has, the worthiness that you have and you have forgotten. Being provided for also doesn't mean that the woman has to do this and the man has to do this. This will change in every relationship. And in a relationship, it'll, if you have a problem in a relationship, it is most likely because you don't know how to communicate or you cannot control your emotions. Do you think that you can feel more powerful when you know you're in control of your relationship? When I was unconscious, for sure, I felt more powerful when I had control over the other person. However, that when I became more conscious, when I started to notice my patterns, when I started to notice how I was, I kind of unconsciously would test the people that I was with, and I didn't want to manipulate or have power over other people. You don't want to. A woman will never want to have power. A conscious woman will never want to have power in her relationship with a man unless she's playing a different role, unless she's playing the masculine and the man is playing the feminine. And there are relationships like that work. However, if you're a conscious woman and want to be in this feminine and feel delicious and feel soft and know that softness holds power, you're not going to want to have power over your man. Like, no. But an unconscious woman will easily tell you, of course, I feel I need to have control over my partner. Otherwise, I don't know where I stand, or you know. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I'm gonna go now. If you don't have any questions, I'm gonna wait 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna go. I loved doing this live with you, and we hold so much power. However, we're not willing to rock the boat. We're nowadays, since the social media age happened, we are not patient. We want to have our way, and having our way sometimes it is not good for us. Having our way sometimes means that you're not willing to work with the other person. You're not willing to accept mistakes. People make mistakes. However, you need to have a list of non-negotiables and negotiables if you want a loving, an amazing relationship that nurtures you, you need to know the power that you hold, your identity, your values, and what type of relationships you want to have. You need to know yourself first. I was called to do this this video of the feminine rebellion. I did it yesterday too. Watch yesterday's live. And I was listening to a song that I loved, and how before I wanted to just be provided for. I always knew that I wasn't going to have a traditional job, and I get to set the example for you. I get to, I mean, now I see more women noticing this, that they're able to manifest their dream jobs, or jobs that are not traditional, like jobs that you're like, what, that's what you do? Wow. And you get to have freedom, and you get to travel the world, and you get to um host events everywhere. I was called to do this video because I had this was very popular a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago, that you needed to get a provider man, but that left you with an entire day for yourself, that some women might take that and not use that time for something useful, to share their gifts. What I'm trying to tell you is that you hold power, and you have to believe in yourself, and taking this first step into building that dream job that you know you're meant to share with the world. All of this time, I was told that women are just brought to this world just to have babies, just to bear babies, which is an amazing gift that us women we have. I want to have babies for sure. However, that is not the only job that I have. That is not the only task that I'm meant to do with this life. I am here to remind you this, because your inner knowing, you're here present because something is calling for you. You know that this holds truth. You know that I'm touching up a side of you that has been unspoken. I will okay, what's the question, love? Is there a question? If it worked for you, great. Is there a question, AMC, with that experience? Anyway, I'll be hosting an event in New York City. I hope to see you there. This is really potent work, even better, even way more powerful when we are in the presence of other women. So I invite you, if you are in New York City, to email me if you are, and I'll send you the details. This event will be in May 31st. And if you are called to join this course, please do, because it'll change your life. It has changed the life of women. So far, we are in week 6 and we're going up to week 10. So we have 4 more classes in there. The type of work and the type of transformation that it holds, it'll blow your mind. And I'm sharing this today, and I'm sharing this today because the price will be going up as the transformation gets to be more powerful. Okay? I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one, okay? Bye.